Introduction. Carbon dioxide laser is basically a gas laser. It works on a 4-level laser system. Its output wavelength is 10.6 micron. Electrical pumping is used to create population inversion. It is a CW wave laser. The actinimeter used in a carbon dioxide laser is basically a mixture of gases consist of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and helium gas. This is the energy level diagram. When the electric discharge produced in the laser cavity, the high-speed electron collide with the nitrogen, and nitrogen is excited to the upper vibrational level. Then nitrogen collide with the carbon dioxide molecule and transfer the energy to the asymmetric vibrational level of the carbon dioxide molecule, and the population in the ground level of the carbon dioxide molecule excite to the upper vibrational level. Hence, the population inversion created between asymmetric vibrational level and low releasing level. If the population decayed to the bending vibrational level, then photon of 9.6 micrometer will be emitted. If the population decayed to the symmetric vibrational level, then a photon of 10.6 micrometer will be emitted, which is basically lasing of our laser system. Then to depopulate our low lasing level, helium is basically added. When helium collide with a carbon dioxide molecule, then through collisional decay, the energy is transferred to the helium, and the population in the low lasing level decay to the ground level of the carbon dioxide molecule, and then helium move and collide with the wall of the tube and transfer energy to the wall and get back to the ground state. This is the seal tube we are using in our laser system, and this is the specification of our laser tube. From this tube we can get almost output power of 40 watt. The length of this tube is 70 centimeter. The inner cylindrical diameter is 2 centimeter, which is basically filled with the gases, mixture of gases. The outer cylindrical diameter is 7 centimeter, which is basically used to circulate the water to extract the heat from the laser cavity. Triggering voltage is 9 kilovolt. Working voltage is 10 kilovolt. Power stability is plus minus 5%. Maximum working current is 20 milliampere, and the spot diameter of the output beam is 4 mm. Designing of high tension pump source. To design a high tension pump source to create a population inversion in the active medium, this is a circuit diagram of our high tension pump source. In this, first we take a AC supply of 220 volt AC. Then we are using a step down transformer to get 24 volt AC and with 4 ampere current. Then we are using a bridge rectifier to get 24 volt DC. Then a capacitor is used to smooth the output DC voltage. Then a voltage regulator 7809 is used to get a regulated 9 volt at output. Then this regulated voltage is applied to the pulse width modulation circuit based on a 555 IC timer IC, and then output of this pulse width modulation circuit is applied at the gate of the MOSFET, and then at the drain of the MOSFET a flyback transformer is connected, from which we get a high voltage pulses at the output in the range of 10 to 30 kilovolt. Simulation of high tension pump source. First we simulated low tension power supply. This is the circuit for simulation, and this is the output result. The red one is showing the AC output after the step down transformer, and the blue one is the DC smooth DC output after the bridge rectifier. Then regulated output voltage. This is a simulation result. The orange one is showing the voltage at the input of the voltage regulator, and the blue one is the output voltage of this regulator. Then we simulated a MOSFET behavior as a switch. Then a PWM signal is applied at the gate of the MOSFET, and the behavior across drain to source is simulated. This is the voltage behavior, and this is the current behavior, which showing that the MOSFET work in a switching mode when a PWM signal is applied at the gate of the MOSFET. This is the pulse width modulation circuit, which is used to create a pulse width modulation signal to run the flyback run the flyback transformer in a switching mode. This is the output voltage waveform of this PWM circuit. Then the PWM flyback output voltage is simulated, which shows this result. The blue one is the PWM signal, and the red one is the output voltage spark of the flyback transformer. When the high voltage of PWM signal is applied at the gate of the MOSFET, the drain to source channel act as a closed circuit, and the current start flowing to the primary winding of the flyback transformer, and the energy stored in the form of magnetic field. But at that time there is no voltage at the output of the flyback. When the low voltage of this PWM signal is applied at the gate of the MOSFET, then drain to source channel act as a open circuit, and the current stop flowing through the primary winding of flyback transformer, and the energy stored in the form of magnetic field collapse in the core, and a high voltage pulse is generated at the output of flyback transformer. On the basis of this simulation, we constructed a high tension pump source. This is the top view of our high tension pump source, and this is the front view showing the terminal for the low tension power supply and the high tension power supply, and these are the switch for low tension and high voltage at the output chiller. To extract the heat from the laser cavity, we design a chiller to stabilize the temperature of the laser cavity so that the laser can be operated for a long period of time. This is the analysis of this chiller. This graph is basically, this analysis is done when the chiller is connected to the laser tube but the laser is not operational yet. From this, then we take a slope to find the cooling rate of this chiller, which give us this value, the 0.7 Celsius per minute, which is enough to compensate the heat generated in the laser cavity. Then working on this is the working chiller. First we take a water tank and through pump the water is circulated through aluminum block, which is connected to the cold side of the 3TEC. Here the heat will be extracted from the water and then it go into another cooling block which is connected to the set of 3TEC cold sides, and then through pipe it go to the laser tube and next heat is extracted from the laser tube and then water goes back to the tank. And then to extract the heat from the hot side of the TEC, the two aluminum block is connected through which the tap water is circulated to extract the heat from the hot side of TEC and then go back to the drain. This is the open box view of our chiller, which showing the water tank, pump, cooling block, and these are the Peltier cooler sandwich between these aluminum block. This is the pump driver circuit. This is the thermometer. This is the high ampere power supply to run the TECs. This is the closed box view of our chiller. This is the working of cooling system chiller. Here showing the water tank, and this is the Peltier cooler sandwich between aluminum block. This is the driver circuit of for the pump to circulate the water to laser cavity, and this here showing the water is circulating in the laser tube at the rate of 5 liter per minute, which is enough to extract the heat from the laser cavity efficiently. And then this is the pipe to circulate the tap water to extract the heat from the hot side of the TEC. This is the block diagram of our complete laser system showing the connection of high tension pump source and the chiller. This is the optical table arrangement working of laser system. First the water circulate through the aluminum block and then the water gets cooled down and then it go into the laser system and extract the heat from it and go into the water tank, and then the tap water is circulated in the cooling block which is connected to the hot side of the TC to extract the heat and then go to the drain. And then there is a inner tube which is filled with the gas mixture. There are two electrodes which is connected to the high tension pump source to create the electric discharge so the laser action will occur. This is a high tension working of our high tension power supply connected to the laser system. Here you can see the positive and negative terminal of power supply which is connected to the positive and negative terminal of the tube to create the population inversion. This is the fan to extract the heat from the power supply, and this glow is showing the laser action which occur in the laser cavity due to this electric discharge. Characterization of chiller. First we characterize the chiller. For that we operated the system at 10 watt output power and check the behavior of the water with respect to time. Here it shows that the water increases heat up slowly with the time, but at some point it gets stable and then it remains constant. For this means with this chiller we can operate the laser system at 10 watt output power for a long period of time without any problem. The heat up rate for this chiller heat up rate of water for this chiller is at 10 watt output power is 0.17 degrees Celsius per minute and stable temperature is 5.8 degrees Celsius. Similarly for 30 watt output power the heat up rate is 0.34 Celsius per minute and stable temperature is 22.1 degrees per Celsius, 2.1 Celsius basically. Comparisons of water heat up rate. This is the comparison of water heat up rate, which showing that at low output power the water get heat up slowly, but at high output power the water get heat up very rapidly because too much heat is produced in the laser cavity. This is the water heat up rate at different output power. This is basically showing the rate which is increasing with the output power. The blue one is showing the experimental result and the red one is the linear fit curve to check what will be the behavior if the heat up rate increase linearly with the output power. Characterization of laser system. First we measure the power of our laser system by using this power meter and this high voltage probe to measure the voltage that is applied to the tube, and this is the behavior of the voltage and power. It shows that the power increases linearly with the applied voltage. Then this is for the current measurement. We connected a ammeter in the series with the laser tube to measure the current. The ammeter is connected between the ground side and between the ground side and the tube in series as shown in the block diagram. This is the current arrangement and this is the behavior of the current with voltage. As you can see, the current increasing linearly with the applied voltage. After the comparison of the power, voltage and current, we see that with the applied voltage, the current and power both increase linearly, and at 10 milliampere we get 40-watt output power from this laser system. Heat generated by output. We want to see how much heat is generated when it fall on the certain element. We take an aluminum plate with the thickness of 5 mm with the length of 2 centimeter and width 2 centimeter to check the temperature variation in it. And this is the behavior of temperature with respect to time in the aluminum block of 0.5 centimeter. From these parameter we find the thermal conductivity of the aluminum, which is basically a rough guess, but we can find the thermal conductivity of any material by using this method. Application. Then we check the penetration through different material of this CO2 laser system output beam. First we take acrylic sheet. From this we see that the beam take more time to penetrate through 30 mm thick acrylic sheet at 12 watt output power. As the output power increases to the 40 watt, it take almost 60 to 70 16 or 17 seconds to penetrate through 30 mm thick acrylic sheet. On these data we also find a penetration depth rate with output power. With these data we can estimate the time the beam will take to penetrate a certain length of acrylic sheet if the power of the output beam is known. We find that the penetration depth rate of 40 watt output power beam through acrylic sheet is 0.22 millimeter per second. Similarly, for a wood of thickness 1.2 centimeter, this is the output power and time taken by beam to penetrate through 1.2 centimeter thick wood. This is the penetration depth rate with along with the output power of the beam for the wood of 12 mm. And this shows that at output power of 40 watt, the penetration rate through the wood is 0.11 mm per second. Similarly, for a pink salt, basically a rock of pink salt of 5 mm thickness, this is the data for, and this showing that the penetration depth rate to the pink salt is very less with the output power of the output power of this laser system. At output power of 40 watt, the penetration rate of the beam through pink salt is 0.0043 mm per second, which is very less. By comparing the penetration depth rate of the salt, wood, and acrylic sheet, you find that the wood penetration rate is less because the most of the energy is utilized in the burning of wood. That's why the wood penetration rate is less than the acrylic sheet. In the case of pink salt, the rock of salt penetration rate is less because it has a very high melting point and beam takes more time to penetrate through the salt. Then we tried some engraving test on the acrylic sheet and a transparent mirror, but a transparent mirror get fractured directly without evolving elastically or plastically because it is a brittle material, so it is not possible to engrave a pattern on it with this output beam because it gets fractured directly. To engrave these patterns, we manually move the acrylic sheet and transparent mirror in front of the beam so we can engrave a pattern of certain type. Conclusion. The design, construction, and characterization of CO2 medium power CO2 laser system is presented in this presentation. A variable high tension pump source is designed, simulated, and constructed to generate a high voltage in the range of 10 kilovolt to 30 kilovolt. A prototype chiller is designed and constructed using thermoelectric cooler. The chiller cooling rate is 0.7 Celsius per minute. The maximum output power of the laser system is 40 watt at 10 milliampere current. At the output power of 40 watt, the beam penetration depth rate through acrylic sheet, wood, and rock of pink salt is 0.22 meter per second, millimeter per second, 0.11 millimeter per second, and 0.043 millimeter per second respectively.